on the road. Tales never end through misty woods and hills they wend.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Tales of Adventure. This week, I'm very excited to welcome back a friend we've had on before, but it's been many months now. Welcome back, and tell us a little bit about what you've been up to and the awesome character you've brought to share with us this evening.
Hi, thank you. I'm an awkward raven on Twitch, um, and like basically everywhere. Uh, the past few months have been just chaos. I moved in with my fiance, and we've been renovating. So if there's a mess in the background, I apologize. um, Hoping to get back into streaming soon, um, but we'll see. It depends.
No stress. If you saw my floor right now, there's plenty of mess of my own happening with various art projects, so it's okay. There's no judgment.
That ADHD life, right?
Yes, it's either all at once or not at all. Definitely, definitely. All right, well, tell us a little bit about the character you brought to share with us tonight because they're pretty cool.
Yeah, this character is Kippa. She is a kobold, level 5 Drakewarden Ranger that I had made for one shot that never finished.
Oh.
And I just really want to adventure with her some more because she's a lot of fun. Um, she is from a kobold tribe near Waterdeep, and her mother is known amongst her clan or tribe as like basically having a lot of children. And for kobolds, they place high value on just having lots of numbers of them, lots of kobolds. So if you can have a lot of kids, you're like really good in the tribe. So there's a lot of pressure on her to become a mother. But she's like, I just want to adventure. But she speaks in the third person, so she'd say, Kippa just wants to adventure. um, uh, her Drakewarden companion is named Nibble, and she calls him Nib for short. And he is her best friend. And at this point, they are just like wandering around, um, working as like
Absolutely. I don't think I caught on before that um the companion is called Nibbles. I love that.
yeah, yeah.
It's real cute. All right. Well, tonight Kippa is going to get a very unusual request as a mercenary, a kind of a different contract that maybe she's used to. And it does have the potential to get a little bit darker than perhaps we often get here in the library. So, for anyone who maybe isn't used to that kind of grim, dark environment, just be warned we have the potential to head that way, but it's kind of up to how the story plays out. Forewarning, there's potential for animal sacrifices and cult fanatics, but it all depends on how we make choices tonight. This could very well end with more happier reunions and families getting back together and all of that wonderful stuff. So it all just kind of depends on how we play things out. But it's fair is fair, and I feel like I needed to warn the audience that there was the potential for that to happen, just in case. So, shield your eyes now or join us forever because there's no going back once you get the chaos going. Okay, so as we all know, the City of Splendors is a cosmopolitan city and a commercial hub for financial interests along the Sword Coast. A powerful and influential member state of the Lord's Alliance. Crime here is random and interspersed, with no real crime lord or guild to take command. At least, this is what the Lord's Alliance assumes. For those familiar with the winding passages of this port city, remnants of the once great Thieves Guild is not really so hard to find. And Kippa can certainly find elements of the Thieves Guild here, such as down a dark, muddy street in the wrong part of town, where sits a tavern that is certainly not the first stop on anyone's list. In fact, it would probably merit inclusion on Mordenkainen's list of locale sensible adventurers should avoid at all costs, which suits the typical patron of the wounded rogue just fine, as it is not the appeal of grimy widows, nor the acrid smell of unwashed hoodlums that draws these shady charlatans back to the tiny taproom again and again. This relative hole in the wall hides a secret that only the best amongst the denizens of the criminal underground manage to seek out, but it is well worth the effort. Is Kippa one of these criminal underground denizens that would know its secrets? Oh.
I don't know.
Well,
She
it's
she's
certainly
not
rather
exactly.
gross here in this type of tavern. And from the outside, this tiny tavern has those grimy windows and a crooked door, which inform would-be guests like Kippa that more than a few balls have spilled out from the interior and back out onto the muddy streets. Inside, she would see a grumpy half-orc who welcomes patrons with a seedy stare. Here, the dishes of fare are limited, and the tavern serves only two types of ale, dark and darker. Shady customers that slumped over their tables, too inebriated to actively neighbors. The smells of burnt food walked through a door on the left slightly ajar, and leading to a narrow hallway where an additional half-orc sweats, cooking in the kitchen. What did you do next? The half-orc will certainly offer you a drink, and perhaps in an attempt at jovial manner would say, "What type of ale would you like?" Well, one be dark, the other be darker. And he laughs. And he slams a rather dusty ale glass on the bar in front of you and pours some ale just for you. That's flavor. Exactly. There you go. All right. Well, as you're sitting in the tavern, you do see some rather strange individuals all kind of working about. None of them really seem all that perky and awake, but you also see some other items rather unusual for this sort of tap room. Roll me perception to see what you would see. Okay. Amongst the various abandoned detritus that always seems to collect in a tavern, abandoned daggers, occasional lost shoe, perhaps a coat that was left off in a corner somewhere. You also notice a few ancient carvings. Not ancient as in old lore, but ancient in the sense that they've been there a while. Almost as if someone drew them into the wall quite some time ago, and over years they've been rubbed down and worn away, barely visible to a very particular perceptive eye. They may not be at Kippa's eye level, but an average height humanoid might stand up at the wall with their dagger and draw it at shoulder height. Or perhaps suppose in reach of touch. That would be her of examination. You might at this moment expect a few odd looks from other patrons, but no reaction, not even from that orc tending bar. And certainly you can take as much time to examine as you wish. Tell me, what do you see up there as you've climbed on top of Nib? It is a type of symbolism, and while it's not directly a language, you recognize it as being derived from thieves' cant. He starts to eye you suspiciously, and then just sort of grunts out something only those answers would know. Well, can you prove yourself? He gets a little mischievous grin and turning to you, it's real close as that cook in the back room owes me 20 gold, see? Now, I doubt you could lift the whole purse, but say take just one. To prove you know what you're about, right? If you can do that without losing a finger, I'll tell you about that there sigil. Got a deal? He's fully expecting you not to turn. Aw. Oh my god. I was gonna say, bring Bell to the party. It's okay, there's always one. Alright. So what happens next? You're heading to the kitchen. Okay. Peeking around the door, you see what you assume is pretty quite large compared to other of this type of hybrid species you've encountered in the past, almost full orcish. And while fussing about the kitchen, he seems to be singing some sort of sea shanty at the top of his lungs. The room is quite steamy, despite that they seem to serve only three things: meat, and some other sort of meat that we don't want to talk about. And despite that, it's rather a large, modernized kitchen. What you expect in a regular sized tavern, perfectly capable of serving a full banquet fare. But they've chosen meat. And he bustles about as if he's cooking a full spread of meat. No coin purse, though, rather large pockets instead. It is Waterdeep. Okay. Does Nib do anything particular to cause a ruckus? Okay. And hearing the clattering pans and various cleaning utensils, when Nib does that dash, um, he will spin about and seeing a Drake in the kitchen will start yelling and shouting and causing his own ruckus in the kitchen, attempting to chase him out of there and maybe even catch him and turn him into a meat dish. Enough. Well, he's certainly jangling quite a bit as you see him dashing about the room there. And as he's doing this, um, roll me an insight to determine what exactly is causing that clinking and clattering. Is it coin in one pocket or the other? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, it's certainly well, it is tonight. It's certainly not coins, or not, sorry, it's certainly not keys hanging on his belt. My brain jumped forward there. But it does seem to be keys hidden right hand pocket. Now, how many coins can't be certain, but certainly enough to clatter against each other and cause jangling noise, maybe even a few gold pieces. Okay, absolutely. Let's Let's do sleight of hand. That's okay. Okay. Well, uh, he rolled a 5 to. Yes. So you're
Oh,
a-okay there.
oh, good.
Um, and you managed to pull a few coins out of his pocket. Now, one is a gold coin. Tell me, what other coins were you able to snag from our orcish cook?
I mean, ideally, like a there's like maybe a platinum. That
Sure,
would be
why
cool.
not? Go nuts.
Some silver. Yeah, she's like she'll get him his 20 gold back and then some.
Sure. There's no rules here in the
The big
library.
half orc is gonna be real grumpy.
All right. Excellent. Having succeeded, we are ready to head back into that main tap room, unless there is more chaos you would like to cause here in the kitchen.
Oh, Kippa and chaos. They just go together. But she would like slip back to the door and like be watching Nib and like give a short like whistle for him. If I could whistle, I would. Um, to like be like, okay, you can leave now. And if there's like a back door, he would like lunge through the door and like run around and like back in from the front door.
Nice. Yes, absolutely. Okay.
And she'd just go like hop up on her bar stool again and wait for Nib to come back, and then be like, so how much did you say he owed you again?
Hoping to pull a fast one, as it were, the bartender will answer 25 gold it was.
I thought you said 20.
No, no, I'm quite certain it was 25.
I'm just gonna roll myself because Kippa's not very bright. Okay. she she's like, okay. Uh, well, here you go. I'll take the change. And she hands him the platinum.
Seemingly impressed, he offers you the change and a pint of the dark ale, and then tells you how. Sorry, it's because I said the dark ale. uh, he then tells you about the sigil and how it's a sign to those who have earned passage to a very exclusive guild that there is a meeting hall here or there, wherever you may find that particular sigil. In this particular location, that sigil designates a very special tavern where a guild of assassins, of smugglers, of all sorts of criminal undergrounds come together, negotiate contracts, and even hire out various other types of folk to help them go about their business. And then he shows you how to enter such a place. Does Kippa go?
Oh yeah.
And
Like,
that
cool.
brings us to the Blessing Rouge. Hidden behind the panel that the orc leads you over to is a room with a refined elegance that is immediately apparent to Kippa upon entering. Polished wooden floors and plush leather chairs shine in the torchlight. Hushed conversations permeate the room as bounty hunters, assassins, smugglers, and other contractors huddle in small groups to hash out the details of their next contract. In the far corner, next to the long, polished bar, sits a mahogany desk. Surrounded by leather-bound ledgers, meticulously documenting the finer points of each underworld contract, sits a blue-skinned tiefling with a pair of twisting black horns. And she gestures to you as you enter this refined establishment. Do you go to her?
Sure, why not?
Might as well, right?
Yeah, I'm
And
here.
yeah, definitely. Walking over, she introduces herself as Mariosa, and she is the matron of this particular guild hall. She also mentions that she has a missive for you. She offers
For
it to
Kippa?
you sealed, yes, for Kippa. She indicates that it's a contract letter that arrived earlier that day, but since she didn't know the name of the recipient, she was uncertain if it could ever be fulfilled or delivered. But seeing you enter just now, it was clear that whoever meant for it to arrive here at this hall knew what they were doing. She can't really tell you more than that. Whatever's inside is meant exclusively for you.
Okay. Kippa will take it and just open it right there.
As soon as you open it, you are hit with this feeling of both the forest, spring, and autumn all at once. And you feel almost as if the woods of your home are embracing you. And as
Oh.
you read the letter, you realize that there is something very strange happening in the Misty Forest not too far south from Waterdeep. The letter is from a potential patron who is asking you to go deep into the woods, for something there has been attacking and kidnapping many of the magical creatures of the forest. They suspect cult activity. They're also suggesting that the magic there has been very strange, which is why they haven't gone to any of the mage schools asking for help. Not certain that magic is something that could help cure the situation. Wild magic seems to be running completely untamed, and chaos magics seem to be twisting things into strange and unusual illusions. She warns you that not even nature is now what it seems, and perhaps even allies will no longer be friends once you enter the forest.
It's like, huh. Doesn't mention anything about payment. She like looks at the tiefling.
I don't have a response to that.
She's like, hmm. Well, I trust that it'll pay something. And animals. Okay. Nib, let's go.
All right. So we are going to head south towards the Misty Forest. Like the high road to the north, the tradeway marches south out of Waterdeep to terminate at Dragonspear Castle. Several days' journey brings you to Daggerford and the threshold of the Misty Forest. A simple trail cuts southeast into damp, foggy woods that sits nestled against the high moor like a moldy nose, filled with ancient pines and evergreens whose boughs drip from recent rains. This forest contains an air of sacred power. Sound is muffled by a thick bed of fallen needles, yet occasional rustling can be heard from the shrubbery beyond the trail. Okay, so things are weird in the Misty Forest right now. So, what would Kippa like to do first?
She probably would notice the rustling and try to see if she can tell what is making the rustling without being spotted herself, if possible.
Definitely. Okay, to determine what creatures specifically, let's go with either a nature or a survival check.
Let's do survival. She's way better at that.
Fair enough.
She's way better at things that aren't intelligence based. Ooh, that is 21.
Okay, very good. So, from rustlings that seem to be occurring closest to you, you're noticing smaller creatures, typically native to the woods, things like rabbits and squirrels, even the occasional larger creature like a deer. But everything is moving rapidly, almost as if it's used to hurrying past, getting on with its business, its day, and not just lazing through these woods like they would in something larger and more open spaced, like Neverwinter. You're also noticing something larger occasionally, not following you, just sort of nearby, something more massive, maybe the size of a bear or even a small wormling. It's not coming towards you necessarily, but it is traveling parallel to the trail. It doesn't seem to be aggressive, but again, it is moving quickly as if it knows if it hangs out here too long, something's likely to be coming for it instead of it going after its next meal.
Okay. She would probably like ritual cast speak with animals, um, and then kind of like slip off the trail herself. And she and Nib will like make their way through the woods, still like parallel with the trail as well. And
Okay.
once the spell is cast, she'd start like looking for like nearby animals, like a rabbit or a deer or something. Be like, "Where are we all going? What's happening?"
A particularly brave rabbit will pause and periscope up to speak to you and just whisper back, "Can't stay, not safe. Traps coming. Don't get caught, not safe. Bad man. Don't let him get you," and then dash away.
Potentially trying to talk to it, depending on what it is. She's not very smart, but she's also not like she's not got a death wish.
Fair enough. You're welcome to head off the path a bit, and um, you eventually find some footprints that are likely to belong to a very large creature. a large beast, if you will. Um, let's roll animal handling to determine the type of creature.
Okay. 14?
Okay. They seem to be bear tracks, but you've noticed they don't quite look correct. There's something weird about the shape of the forepaws, so that the pads seem like bears, but maybe the toes aren't quite the way you'd expect them to be.
Okay. Well, she would follow the tracks until she's closer to whatever the creature is. And she, excuse me, not bear. Hello? Are you a bear?
Before much else happens, the not quite bear turns around and, in great frustration, rushes you because what you've snuck up upon is a mother owl bear desperately on a
Oh, yay.
mission.
Oh, okay.
What does
Kippa would be
Kippa
like,
do
oh,
next?
um, well, let me see what she's got for spells. She might have, she would probably try to use um, an ensnaring strike. So she quickly grab her bow and use ensnaring strike to try and stop the owl bear, not necessarily to hurt her, just to stop her. So she can go, hey, I am friend. Please don't hurt me.
There's a mighty roar from this mother owl bear, and she's pulling against those bonds, attempting to break them, but you're getting these feelings of frustration, not anger or animosity. And briefly, there's these flashing pictures of an owl bear. I'm struggling to choose between chick and cub, but a baby. I'm like, I have to pick one. And I don't want to choose a side in this great argument that has been going on so long now. Hmm. Uh, the young baby owlbear that has been strung up by a snare, and then later seems to have vanished. The snare left alone and torn, but no youngling in sight. Something taken it, and now she's desperately seeking her infant through these misty woods, but can't seem to find it anywhere.
Kippa would go, Kippa can help. Can you show Kippa where the snare was? Maybe Kippa can find the baby.
She backs up slightly, eyeing you warily, but does lead you to where the snare once was. And it is slightly off the trail, and you see an arching tree, one perfect for setting these types of animal traps. You see a torn hempen rope and some small claw marks, as if the young owlbear attempted to release itself but could not do so. You also see larger, more desperate tracks, likely from the mother itself, also attempting to help or at least frustrated, all around the tree. And there are still slices of rope left behind, but no sign of that baby itself.
Okay. Um, are there any signs of like other footprints? Like maybe the trapper came and collected the baby, and then there's like signs of where they went?
Roll survival.
Okay. Ooh, 12. She's not really good at survival.
That's okay. There may have been tracks here once, but they're very heavily obscured by those raging footprints left behind by the mother owl bear. Finding the tracks is going to be difficult, and you may need to look farther ahead down that trail before picking up anything other than strictly owl bear.
Okay. Yes, she would probably go down to the trail then and like look around for more tracks, um, or signs of struggle or anything else.
And when you do so, you start to see what you think might be footprints leading deeper eastward into the heart of the Misty Forest. They're not particularly deep, so they might have been left a while ago, but they do seem to be humanoid sized.
Hmm. Okay. So she would look to the mother owl bear and like look at the tracks and go, maybe that way. Do you want to come with Kippa? Or do you want Kippa to go and meet you back here?
She ignores you, but getting the sense that this is where her baby went, she sniffs the tracks and then charges off into the woods.
Okay. Kippa's gonna run after her.
The choice has been made.
Yeah.
It does take you some time to chase after the charging owl bear, but soon enough you come across a rather unusual and slightly disturbing sight. Hidden behind crushed brush and shrubbery is a narrow forest path that seemingly leads to a dead end. Dirt and undergrowth give way to rock where roots can't find purchase, and the drag marks that you've noticed before also give way. Ringed by spruce and trees and low bushes, this clearing features a large black stone with a flat top that sits in the very center. Like an arch that meets an altar, it is the very focal point of this clearing. While the stone seems to give off no magical aura, in fact, it's like a magical void. It does possess an otherworldly presence. Atop the flat stone lies a young owlbear, paws bound and muzzled. Facing away as you enter the clearing is a cloaked and hooded figure, hovering over the restrained creature. Alert to your presence, he turns, revealing a dagger and saying, "Stand back. You know not what you are interrupting." What do you do next?
Kippa doesn't know a lot of things, but Kippa knows you probably shouldn't kill that baby.
The man will laugh maniacally. You get the sense that whatever he's been up to has perhaps addled his brains just a little bit, or at least messed with his sanity. And he will simply say, I must. What I am doing, it must be done. I must save this. And if you stop me, then what I do to you must be done too.
Uh-huh. You sound crazy. Just gonna firebolt him.
Okay. Remind me, does Firebolt just hit?
I think I have to roll for it. Let me double
Okay.
check.
There's too many fire something spells. I can never remember.
Right? It's just a cantrip, so I'm assuming I have
Oh,
to
yeah,
roll
I think.
for it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes cantrips just hit because they just do
Like
things.
a ranged spell attack. Um,
We're like, oh no, not combat. This never happens.
I get +7. Okay, so that might be okay. So, 13?
Was that attack or damage?
I didn't roll the best.
Okay,
Attack.
but no, which one was it? Was that the attack? 13 is attack.
The to hit. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. Um, it does hit. So what is the damage?
2d10s.
That's a lot of damage. For a cantrip?
Except that she rolled real bad. Um, it's only 5 fire damage.
Okay. That cantrip has potential to be very hefty.
Yeah, well, it's
2d10s?
because she's level 5. It gets better as you
Oh,
level up.
that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's because I never get to level up that high. So, like, what's the point of a cantrip?
Yeah.
It's because they don't do anything at level 3. All right.
No, not much.
Not really. All right. Okay. So he's quite singed, and you can see him holding his side where a burn mark is showing. But it is his turn to attempt to attack back. And magic has been kind of wonky here. So there's a chance that whatever he attempts to do might backfire on all of you. Okay. Does a 16 hit?
No.
Okay. Um, Unfortunately, the spell that he cast goes wild. And when that happens, a strange mist starts to form across the entire clearing. And everyone inside of it is going to need to make a con saving throw.
No. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Including him, so you never know.
Kippa got a nat 1,
That's okay. He rolled a
but
6.
Nib got 19.
Okay. So far, Nib's okay. And the
Who knows about
owlbear's
Kippa?
okay. All the humanoids
Yay.
died. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. All right. Um, so unfortunately, those of you who, those among us, all 2 of us, who did not pass our con saving throws took 4 poison damage and are poisoned.
Lovely.
Yeah, so that's fun. Be careful with spells, guys. All right.
Yeah.
But it is now Kippa's turn.
Okay. Um, Kippa is going to turn to Nib. Flank him, Nib! And um, pull her bow out, and she'll try to ensnaring strike again.
Okay. Excellent. I'm gonna say that that hits because he's not doing so good after all that damage.
Okay.
All right. So he is all wrapped up in those vines, and tell me, what are you gonna do with him?
Um, is the mother owl bear there?
Yes, but she's been hanging back, realizing that there is some powerful spell work happening here, and she was not ready to get in the middle of that just yet.
Okay.
But provided you two are done sparring, she's definitely going to jump over and try to help her baby out.
Yeah. So Kippa would run over to baby and take out a dagger and like freeze ropes, and then look to Mama Owlbear and go, "What do you want to do with him?" She'll leave it up to the mama.
She will get a bit closer, sniff him up and down, roar in his face, and then turn her back on him.
Okay. Not what I would have done.
Were you waiting for
So
her
like,
to eat him?
yeah, I was kind of anticipating something. I was like, "Hmm, okay, you do you."
Her mission was the
Kippa would have
baby.
killed him. Yeah. So, Kippa will turn to him and be like, "Why were you wanting to kill that baby? And don't give me crazy stuff. Give Kippa truth."
He will start to mutter randomly and a bit insanely about restoring balance, how he must bring magical balance back to the worlds. And he will clearly say worlds and not just the Forgotten Realms. And he'll speak about contained chaos and about corruption, but he'll say it like it's a name, a person, not a concept. And he'll talk about binding and unbinding, making and unmaking, and it all sounds like insanity, but it makes perfect sense to him.
You sound crazier than Kippa. Kippa thinks you should go to Waterdeep and maybe be locked up. Kippa thinks that would be good for the world. So she will. She has rope on her, right? Yeah. Yeah, she's got rope. She will tie him up really nice and tightly and gag him so he can't cast any spells. And with Nib's help, will like drag him to Waterdeep
Awesome.
if she can, assuming she can.
Yes, you're always welcome to try. um, but something interesting happens along the road back north. During one of the nights that you are camping, and he is perfectly contained as always, you have a most interesting dream. You dream of a woman with auburn hair, dressed in forest green, racing toward in through the woods towards you. And you have that same feeling of both spring and autumn and the woods of home embracing you. And she leans over you, Kippa, and whispers, "Thank you for saving my forest. Your help is greatly appreciated, and I am truly forever in your debt. I must take him now and restore him back to his worlds. But know this, so that you will always know of my gratitude. I give you a gift. I offer you the powers of the creatures of the land. And she gently taps your collar, and there an amulet appears, made of leather and various bones and claws. And you recognize that it has indeed some very special powers. But when you awake the next morning, you realize that the man you captured in the woods has vanished. In fact, you're entirely alone. Your rope is coiled beside you, and an amulet is around your neck.
Weird. Well, okay, I guess. Come on, Nib. Let's go back to Waterdeep and see if that weird tiefling has more jobs for us.
And you are more than welcome to return. And contract completed successfully, Mariosa will definitely have additional